to the word Pesach. So I have Pesach. You know what's the meaning of the word Pesach? The speech of the mouth. The conversation of the mouth. Okay, so far so good. We already discussed last week, and even this week's Torah portion, Tahor, last week's Tazria, that begins with pregnancy, Berit Milah, but then goes to leprosy. And this week's the topic continues. What is the topic of leprosy founded upon? The power of speech. That's basically the way it works. The leprosy, as the Rambam writes, it wasn't a natural reaction. You know, you eat salty food, you eat spicy food, then you have acid reflux. Or you need to drink a lot of water or the body gets swollen. No, we're talking about the physical reaction through a spiritual transgression. And that's what the Rambam writes in the Laws of Sarat, that the topic of Mesorah was I don't want to say the word magical, but it was a godly sent, wake-up call message to the person. And that comes through the speech. That's the meaning of Pesach. Then you have Masa. Masa. What's the meaning of the word Masa in Hebrew? Masa means Masa means the bread, the matzah of Pesach, matzo. But in Hebrew, the word Masa reminds us a war, not a war, but an unfortunate incident in the desert known as Masa Umeriba. The arguments, the fighting, that's the meaning of Masa. That's why one of the steps of the Seder is called Motzi Masa. Remove arguments from your house. Remove anger. Remove fighting. Remove everything that is negative. Because if we don't remove the aspect of negativity, what do we have? Maror. What's the meaning of maror? Bitter life. So here he's telling you, be careful with your words, because the words of the person can create mahloket, can create argument, can create animosity, has v'shalom, among people, and the outcome of that is maror, bitter life. And that's what Rabban Gamliel is referring to. It says Pesach is not only about eating the masa, or drinking the wine, or eating the maror, and eating the haroset. All that, I'm sure, everyone does. But Pesach is also Pesach, the conversation, our speech, the way we talk to people, the way we interact with people, the vocabulary that we use with people. We already discussed the other day, the Gemara on Shabbat, the topic of Nibul Peh. You heard this last week in the recording, that we talked about how dangerous it is, God forbid, when a person curses. A person, big deal, everybody talks like that. And the Gemara in Shabbat tells us that a person that does not have a clean mouth, with that attitude, prevents berachot of coming down to the person. You want a beracha? You want beracha? Baruch Hashem. And don't curse. I'm sure you don't. Baruch Hashem. You're a nice fellow. Okay? But everybody's watching and everybody's listening. And that's what the message of Pesach Masa Umaror is all about. So, last year, I came across a fascinating Hiddush. And I'm trying to remember the source. I know I have it in the office. And Be'ezat Hashem, I'll look for it today or tomorrow. And I like to speak about the word maror. What's the meaning of the word maror? Bitter. We eat bitter herbs to remind us of the bitterness of Egypt. But as we discussed in the past years, Pesach, Yetziat Mitzrayim, has two levels. The collective exodus, meaning to say that we commemorate the miracles of Yetziat Mitzrayim, but we also have our own personalized Yesiat Misraim. Yesiat Misraim. Every one of us has its own package of Misraim. Misraim doesn't mean Egypt only. Yes, Misraim literally means Egypt. But Misraim in Hebrew comes from the word Mesarim. Mesarim means Mesar. David HaMelech says in the book of Tehillim, Min ha-Mesar karatiyah. What is the meaning of the word Mesar? Mesar means narrowness, difficulties, challenges, darkness. So when we celebrate Pesach, we also need to remove our own Egypt from our life. So a great rabbi that I wish I remember the name, but I know that I saw it in writing, gave a suggestion, gave a wonderful suggestion. I do it myself once I learned about it. What was the suggestion that he gave? He says as follows. We all know that the morning of Pesach, Erev Pesach, we burn the Hametz. And when we burn the Hametz, what do? We say a special prayer. And we say to the Almighty, Dear Hashem, like I, at this moment, I'm burning the physical Hametz, help me to burn my spiritual Hametz. Who is the spiritual Hametz? Chazak Baruch, the Yetzer Hara, all the headaches. So you know what a great rabbi said? Take a piece of paper. You're allowed to try this. Take a piece of paper and write down all your problems and burn it. Now, you don't have to write a Megillah. Just write words. For example, if a person has issues of Shalom Bayit, write Shalom Bayit. If a person has difficulties with Parnasah, write difficulty of Parnasah. Small words. Read them as the Hametz is being burned and pray, Borei Olam, remove all these Hametz headaches from my life. Because we need to know that many, many times, a lot of the challenges and difficulties that we experience in our life, some are valid and justified, but some of them are magnified. By whom? By the Yetzer Hara and by the person themselves. And this is the message of Pesach. Yes, cleaning is essential. It's required. Kashering, you have to. Don't go crazy. Okay? Kasher the home. Clean the home. Obviously, do the right thing. Celebrate the Seder. Get your Masah Shemurah. Get your wine. You can buy chocolate also for Pesach. Kasher le Pesach only. I remember in our home in South America, going back to my childhood, we had a very peculiar tradition that the only time that we ate chocolate was the week of Pesach. Why? Because going back the early 70s, there was no real kosher chocolate in South America. Oh, you understand? So when we saw kasher le Pesach badas, kosher chocolate for Pesach, so we said, Lichvod Yom Tov, we'll have. Okay? Interesting tradition. But today, Baruch Hashem, doing Pesach is so easy. Baruch Hashem, you have every imaginable item for Sephardic, for Ashkenazic, for anywhere in between. Good ashgahot. That's very important, Rabotai, that Pesach, interesting enough, the Moed Kol Hai says that there is no limit how strict can the person become in honor of Pesach. So since Baruch Hashem today, we are fortunate enough to live in a generation that kashrut is readily available to most of us, make sure to buy the best hechsher that is available in the kosher supermarkets. And if you don't know something, feel free to text me. Baruch Hashem, today I have at least 4, 5, maybe 6 apps and list of kasher le Pesach information that makes the person's life much easier, especially when it comes to the question of medicine and different questions that people ask. And Be'ezat Hashem, when we say Pesach Kasher Besameach, why do we add Sameach in Pesach? Every holiday needs to be happy. The Pasuk says, Besamachta v'chagecha. We don't say Sukkot Sameach. We don't say Shavuot Sameach. It's a giving. The Sukkot and Shavuot is Sameach. But in Pesach, sometimes people go, I don't want to say the word crazy, but they work so hard before Pesach, especially our holy wives, that when the night the Seder of Pesach come, they throw in the towel and they worn out. And that's the reason why our rabbis tell us, Pesach kasher, besameach. Do what is halachic required. You don't have to change the flooring for Pesach. Okay? Okay, and then you have dust and breaking and permits and delays. You know, the halacha says, make sure that there is no visible hametz in Pesach. Sweep the floor, mop the floor, change the broom, empty the vacuum bag, because the vacuum bag picks up hametz, etc. Do a good cleanup. I know in English people call it spring cleaning, okay, which is good. You know, it's good that we do cleanup, etc. But I think that what Hachamim are trying to say is, yes, preparing for Pesach, it's important. But Pesach itself is the start of the day. We're only warming up. We're getting a day closer. I'm sure that everyone at home with their wives, they make lists. At least this is what we do at home. I have a list of 20 items that I need to check. That were done. I already started the cashiering. You know, I'm slow every day. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Be'ezat Hashem, by the next week we come. Hopefully, Be'ezat Hashem, will be ready. And don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till the last minute, especially for the husbands that may have very busy work schedules and they show up at home very late at night to help in the kitchen, to cashier the kitchen. I give you a friendly advice from personal experience. Try to adjust your schedule to be available, especially to help with the cashiering. Maybe your wife says, my wife tells me, you in charge of cashiering, masa, and wine. That's it. Ladies sometimes don't know which wine to buy. Have the hot water, 24 hours not using it, agala, blood torch, etc. You know, the husband must be ready to help in the celebration of Pesach, because at the end of the day, the easier and the calmer, and that's a key ingredient to what I'm saying now, calm, to get aggravated and to get all worked up for Pesach, that's not the message and the mission of Pesach. Do it with happiness. Yes, that Pesach has more requirements and more expenses and more demands from us as a nation in the way of preparation, 100%. But don't let the Yetzer Hara win. Tell the Yetzer Hara, relax, take a step back, stay away from the kitchen, like many of our wives tells us, stay away from the kitchen. Your wife tells you that? My wife tells me that the same. That's it. You do the heavy lifting, right? Pick the shelves, go to the car, go to the grocery, go to the mikveh, bring the staff, go to the mikveh, dip the dishes again. All these are the way that a good Jewish husband becomes a partner in the mitzvah of preparing our home in honor for Pesach. But remember that our goal is, Be'ezat Hashem, to arrive to the Seder of Pesach, being able to celebrate Pesach and not falling asleep in the middle of the Seder night, because it defeats the whole purpose, especially, and I finish with the following statement. The Zohar HaKadosh writes that in the night of Pesach, besides being Leil Shimurim, a night that HaKadosh Baruch Hu Bichvodo Be'asmo is watching over the Jewish nation worldwide, the Zohar says that in the night of Pesach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes down to the house of the Jewish people with the entourage of Malachim. And what does Borei Olam says to the Malachim? Let us go down and let us witness how my children are remembering the miracle of Pesach. So Yiratzon, that everybody will have a Pesach Kasher Besameach, Tizko Leshanim Rabot, and we still can celebrate Pesach in Yerushalayim. So we say Leshana Hazot B'Yerushalayim HaBenuya.